Hey, have you noticed that men and women are different? I sure have. In working with couples and individuals for several decades now, I've noticed that one huge difference is in the way that men and women communicate when they're angry. So, for instance, men have a tendency as a group to talk trash when they get torqued. When they get angry, they spew, they tend to let it out, and they say things when they're angry that they really don't mean. If I'm working with a guy and he gets torqued or angry at me, he might call me a butthole or worse. And as a guy, I think, oh, he's just blowing off steam. He really loves me. We're fine. What I found out about women, though, is women often withhold the truth until they get angry, until they're in deep distress and highly agitated, and then the truth comes out. Well, there's mischief in this because men often assume that what their spouse says when they're angry is just letting off steam. They really love me. Everything's fine, right? Because the next day, if she's calmer, she's back to being kinder. And he figures, oh, we're good, right? No, we're not good because, again, in those moments of distress, the truth comes out. And a man will do well to pay attention to what his wife says when she's upset because in there is some grain of truth that he needs to let take root and bear fruit. Now, ladies, if you're watching this, please remember that what a guy says when he's upset is not necessarily how he feels. I guarantee you that if a man ever says when he's angry that his wife is fat and ugly, she will never forget it. Part of that is that she will tend to believe that what he says when he's angry is how he really feels. When the guy will tell you, no, I think she's beautiful. I was just angry. I wanted to hurt her. Did he hurt her? Yes, mission accomplished. But he didn't mean to plant a seed in her that would take root and bear fruit. Because if you tell a white woman one time that she's fat and ugly, you can tell her for the rest of her days that she's beautiful. She's likely to remember that one time. So, girls, do yourself a favor. Don't assume that what your husband says or your boyfriend or some other man, what he says when he's upset is how he really feels. Even if it's your boss, like he's likely letting off steam. He'll feel better immediately afterward and probably think differently the next day. But again, guys, pay attention. Listen up when your wife is having a bad day, when she's at her wits' end, when she's torqued or troubled. Because what she says then may, in fact, be the very thing that you need to hear in order to understand her heart and to make some adjustments in the relationship that will allow it to go the different distance. Otherwise, if a woman continues to share her heart in those troubled moments and there's no real legitimate shift, she's likely to reach that point where her emotional reservoir gets filled up with all the disappointment, frustration, hurt, bitterness, resentment. And at that point, it's like a switch is flipped and her give a damn is busted. She just doesn't care. At that point, she's going to take an action that wakes up her partner to the gravity of the situation, but by then, it may be too late. So think about these things I've shared today about how we relate to anger as men and women and shift your perspective so that you either pay more attention to what a woman says when she's angry or less attention to what a guy may say. Again, these generalizations don't apply to every person on the planet, but they hold pretty true in my experience. Anyway, hope these thoughts are helpful for you in all of your relationships. I wish you to be blessed, happy, and healthy. I love you.